morning walk, episode 57. And trying something a little bit different this morning because this is live. So if you're joining me live, thank you for coming along. And if you're watching this on the replay, also great to see you. Thanks for joining me for a walk from Adelaide. What I wanted to do today was to show you a little bit about what this city is all about. I absolutely love Adelaide as a city. If you haven't been here, God, it's worth the time. This is like one of the main pedestrian areas of the city. It's called Rundle Mall, and one of like most unique artistic installations here. It's like these bronze pigs that are like eating out of the bin and stuff. A great city, Adelaide. We'll have a bit of a walk around and have a look at what makes it tick. If you've got any questions, today we're talking about how to choose a university, and in just a minute I'm going to go walking down this way to go to the University of Adelaide. We're going to walk through there and talk about what it actually means to choose a university, the things you may want to consider as part of that decision-making process. Because I've been in higher education for 20 years here in Australia, in and around universities. I've visited almost every university in the country. I think there's maybe 2 to 3 universities in the entire country that I haven't been to yet. And I reckon I must be just about the only person who's visited so many institutions. So I've seen a lot, and as part of my actual job, running some companies, actually in the study abroad space. So I run a company called AIM Overseas and another one called the Global Society. But as part of my work with those, I get to deal with students all day long, and I guess that kind of work I've done there has probably helped, tens of thousands of students boost their resume in different ways and help find their direction. So I've done a lot of work in this space. So by the end of this video, hopefully you'll have some good tips about some things that you need to think about when you're choosing a university. But let's take a bit of a stroll through Adelaide. If you haven't been here before, it's a super cool little place. I'm going to flick this camera around and you can come for a walk with me down Rundle Mall. Come on. There we go. A bit more interesting. Hello, Rundle Mall. It's really quite a chilled city. I kind of prefer places a little bit quieter. I really like Adelaide. To me, it's the kind of city that's sort of like the right size. About 1.5 million people here, so big enough for it to attract all the kinds of things that you might want in a big city, like activities and festivals, music, musicians, that kind of stuff. Got all the facilities you could possibly want. 3 very good universities here, different kind of study options. It's got awesome outdoors. You head up into the Adelaide Hills. You've got different ones outdoors, which are just spectacular. And the airport is awesome because it's not fucking overloaded with hundreds of flights a day. So I don't know, I just tend to think that Adelaide is about the right kind of size for a city. Right, dude. Oops. Let's get out of the way here. What I'm going to do is take you Northern street that runs along the top of the CBD, if you like. The city's kind of surrounded by North Terrace and West Terrace and South Terrace, and Alright, looks like we're back. So one of the issues with live streaming always is connection can be a bit dodgy. Here we are on North Terrace, so just walking up towards the University of Adelaide. And the thing that's nice about North Terrace and the Uni of Adelaide is you've got these absolutely spectacular historical buildings here. The State Library is here, the Art Gallery is here too, the museum, sorry. So you've got these amazing facilities you get to check out. That dude must be pretty freaking cold. It's cold this morning, people. Here we go. So just coming up to the university now. So, University of Adelaide, this is not a video about the University of Adelaide. You can check out my full review of that though on A Life That Travels. Just search for Uni of Adelaide and that will come right up. But it is part of the group of 8, which are what are colloquially called here the sandstone universities, and you can see why. There's a lot of sandstone in some of these buildings. That's actually the South Australian Museum, Rob, so technically incorrect. But you'll see the uni itself has got plenty of sandstone. And the group of 8 universities in Australia are collectively called research intensive. They do a lot of research and collectively also rank as the top 8 institutions in the country. Now, of course, one of the things that you'll probably think about when you're trying to choose a university is rankings. Are they important? I don't know, it kind of depends on you. Back when I started university, they didn't even have university rankings in Australia, so you just kind of went wherever was closest. But now you've got a lot more information. So what are rankings anyway? Well, basically, rankings are put out by private companies, and they have different methods by which they decide which is the best university in the world. So they'll look at things like student outcomes, like the students happy with their experience there, the students get jobs. One of the most important elements of rankings is the academic side of it, so the academic research side of it. How much research do the universities put out, and pretty much what's the quality of that research? And they essentially look at that by saying, well, if an academic has written this particular article, how many times have other people cited that article in their work? And the reason that is useful is because obviously a good quality piece of research will get cited a lot by others. So rankings, there are I don't know, like a dozen different ranking schemes. And you can look them up, just Google university world rankings, that sort of stuff, and you'll come up with 5 of them or 6 of them. And they're getting more and more specific. So in some rankings will talk about the best young university or the best university in particular disciplines, or whatever it might be. So should you worry about rankings? Well, it kind of depends. It's certainly something that you want to consider. In Australia, all of our universities are pretty awesome on a global scale. From Adelaide, one of the group of 8, right through to the smallest regional institution, teaching is pretty good. The outcomes for students is pretty good. So it really depends on the discipline you're going into, and in that regard, I always tell people to go and check out the Australian government's quality indicators of learning and teaching, QUILT, Q-I-L-T website. That's a real mouthful. qilt.edu.au, where the Australian government collates data about the student experience. So after students graduate, they get asked to fill out quite a significant survey about did they get a job, and how was the teaching, were they happy with their overall experience, etc., etc. And the government compiles all those statistics, sorts it by disciplines as well. So if you want to do a particular discipline, study like science, you can look up Adelaide sciences and see about the experience that students have had here. So that's what I'd be doing if I were you. Check out the universities you're potentially interested in, and look them up on the QUILT website, qilt.edu.au, and drill down into the detail of the discipline you want to go and study at, and compare them, because that's the experience of your peers, the people who've been there before you, and what they said. Anyway, let me show you a little bit of the uni too, because, pardon me, this is it's absolutely beautiful here. Once again, it's early in the morning here in Australia, it's before 8 a.m, but it's just stunning, this campus. They've really done a fabulous job of creating these kind of newer buildings that are modern and glassy, nestled amongst the sort of historical old sandstone buildings. And the thing I love about Adelaide too is that it's done a really good job of creating some beautiful teaching spaces and beautiful collaborative spaces for students to hang out, do group work, etc. And that's it. So rankings. yes, you may want to consider rankings as part of your decision about where you want to go and study. But then there's a lot more that goes into the question, right? The next thing that I would always consider is, what else are you interested in? You know, we were talking earlier in Adelaide about Adelaide's kind of like the right sized town. I mean, for me, because it's kind of like big enough, but quiet enough, enough outdoor stuff, which I really love. I would be very happy living in Adelaide. But what about other places in Australia? I mean, obviously you've got the biggest cities are Sydney and Melbourne, and in big cities you have lots of opportunities. Probably more opportunities of getting part-time work, more opportunities of getting internships and things like that. But of course, cost of living, much higher. Adelaide, much cheaper. So that's going to depend on what's important to you in some of those other criteria. What do you enjoy outside the classroom? Do you enjoy mountain biking? Do you enjoy reading? Do you enjoy movies? Do you enjoy going out with friends, like as in party? Yeah, you can get that in Adelaide, but you're probably better off in Sydney or Melbourne. Do you want like a sort of low-rise city? Do you like seeing the sky? Do you love nightlife? You get the idea, right? Like, think about the things that you actually enjoy, that you really like outside the classroom, and what's important to you, because honestly, like, a university degree from an Australian uni is pretty much going to be good enough to get you interviews, to get a job. But you spend a lot of money coming to university, and you spend a lot of your time, like a lot of your life is invested in doing a degree in one of these places. So what you really do want to be thinking about as well is, are you actually going to fucking enjoy it? Because if you don't, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years in a place where you're not enjoying it, like that sucks. That really sucks. You really have to enjoy your time here. Otherwise, you're just not going to make the most out of it. And I really love to say that, a uni degree will help get you an interview. It'll help get you to the table. But what's really going to get you that job, and not just any job, but like the job that you actually really want, is much more the stuff that you do outside the classroom than inside the classroom. It's like the story that you're able to tell about yourself. And so that's why I'm a massive fan of universities that have really invested in creating a student experience that goes beyond the classroom. And so that, what the fuck am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about things like internship programs. Work integrated learning is what you want to look up when you're looking for an Australian university. Look up work integrated learning. That's effectively internships that are built into the university curriculum. Work integrated learning is like an awesome opportunity for you to actually get out into the field in your discipline of study, spend time with businesses, connect with people, and really get to know what your subject area is all about. So that's really, really valuable. And places like Adelaide, the group of 8 universities, the most prestigious universities in the country, have definitely got some stuff like that. But some of the best universities in the country, like Swinburne University down in Melbourne, RMIT University in Melbourne as well, absolutely extraordinary for their work integrated learning programs. So if like practical experience is important to you, check out work integrated learning. What else outside the classroom is important? Well, things like clubs and societies are also really important. And in that sense, if you want to like get involved in any sort of club or society, big universities will almost always offer you more options. Certainly when I've been doing these uni review videos, places like Monash University, University of Sydney, UNSW, these places have just got like squillions and squillions and squillions of clubs and societies. What does that mean? Well, a club is basically like a group of students that get together around a common interest. So whether that's chess or movies or food or outdoor adventures, mountaineering, there are like tons of different options, and it's really good to get involved in, because it's great to meet people in your discipline, but it's also great to meet people who enjoy things that are similar to you. Just wanted to show you this little section of the university because this is beautiful. Here we're just coming down past the Bar Smith Library. See the sun's coming up. That's not the main library space. I'm not going to go in there, just out of respect for the privacy of people. But if you go in there, it's absolutely beautiful down the bottom. And what we're doing here is like coming down through the uni off North Terrace, and we're going to end up on the Torrens River, which is really beautiful. But later on today, this is actually just going to be pumping with students. It's such a great atmosphere. Okay. What else, guys? What else outside the classroom do you really need to think about? Well, I'm a massive advocate for undertaking overseas study or some sort of international experience while you're at university. Now, the one that most people think about is, of course, a semester exchange. If you can do semester exchange, totally the thing that you should try and do. Getting to spend 6 months at another university somewhere else in the world and having that count for credit back to your degree is amazing. But obviously getting away for like 6 months from your job or from your family or everything can be really difficult. So universities now have created tons of different options for students, like study tours. You've got summer and winter schools at universities overseas, internships, volunteering. There are just so many opportunities. And that's the kind of thing that when you hit an interview, really gives you an edge over other people, because you can explain, when they ask you a question like, how can you, how are you adaptable, or, how do we know that you're a team player? You can explain how you've been outside your comfort zone in another environment around the world. You've got that international experience, and so you can be more adaptable in the workplace. Plus you end up with lots of great stories. So massive fan of international study opportunities, and a lot of unis have options there, but some do that definitely much better than others. So check out the details, like on their study abroad, student exchange, study overseas websites, and you'll find that there are, plenty of options out there. What else outside the classroom is important? I don't know. What are you interested in? Are you interested in sport? Part-time work? The great thing about being at uni, of course, is that, you've got plenty of time up your sleeve to do lots of those sorts of things. So that's, for me, is like a handful of the things that I would be thinking about when I go to university. If I were choosing a university now, and I definitely wouldn't just be picking based on prestige, even though Uni of Adelaide is an awesome, prestigious institution. You really got to think about what's right for you, right? Like, is this university exactly the right one for you? Or do you want to be an entrepreneur? You're thinking of starting your own business? Because if you're thinking of starting your own business, you want to be in a university that's got like an entrepreneurship program, a little, student business incubator. And there are some unis around the country that have the most extraordinary incubator programs, like UTS in Sydney. University of Technology Sydney was basically ranked like the #1 university in the world under the age of 50. So, it's pretty glowing endorsement. Let me just show you this. So this folks, is the Torrens River. The Torrens River runs along that kind of like northern part of the city, or runs through the northern part of the city, the CBD, I should say. Literally just behind the University of Adelaide. So if you love the outdoors, just coming down here for lunch or after uni, going for a bit of a walk, getting some fresh air, is really just an awesome opportunity. I love to run down here. You can see there's like guys that are running the river. Good morning, sir. It's just something that you don't expect. A lot of Australians talk a bit of shit about Adelaide, but it's actually such a great city. I guess my last thought is like, should you move to go to university? Should you move to another city? Which is not really the cultural thing that we do in Australia. I certainly just stayed at home and went to the university that was closest to me. Why? Because it was easy, it was cheap, because I could stay with my family. And I guess back then there wasn't a hell of a lot of information about the different types of experiences that you could have at those sort of places. But there are definitely advantages of moving away. Firstly, like if you've been in a household, I grew up in a great family, right? But if your family has been challenging to you in different ways, maybe you just want to get the fuck out and have a bit of like clear air for you to be able to like create your own identity and do your own thing. Sure, think about moving away for university. There are many incredible institutions in every city in this country, even moving out to the country where, you know, you'd have a bit more of an intimate experience, perhaps at a smaller institution, being part of a community. Like that would be incredibly valuable. Where was I last week? Southern Cross University, Lismore, on the north coast of New South Wales. Basically everyone I spoke to there, students and staff, were just saying what an amazing community that university was. People seemed to know each other. They were really in there for each other, and it just had the most amazing vibe to it. I met like some creative writing students, you know, art students, students studying health, nursing, midwifery. Why the hell wouldn't you move to an amazing place like that? Get out of the big city for a little bit, have this kind of cultural experience too, inside your own country. So definitely worth thinking about. The other thing is you can look at, you know, do universities have any scholarships available that could support you to come from interstate, move in, study there? Because I can tell you what, all Australian universities are keen to enrol as many students as they can, both domestic as well as international. So they're always looking for, you know, more people to get on campus. I reckon that's a pretty good intro to how to choose a university. I know that it's like coming up to final exam time in Australia. A lot of people sort of now under the pump to try and work out what to do with their lives. What I'd say to you guys is like, don't put yourself under so much pressure, right? You know, whatever age you are, even if you're, you know, finishing up high school, you're 18 years old, you're a mature age student, you know, in your 20s or 30s or older, and you're thinking about which university you might want to go to, you know, changing career, changing direction, or really just setting yourself up for the first time. Like, life is long, and it's okay to make mistakes. You know, so many people, as part of this like a Life That Travels project, I've met so many students, and it's incredible how many people have changed their degrees, changed direction, changed their mind about all sorts of stuff, which before you go into it, you think is like this super big deal. Once you're in there, you know it's fine to change. Nobody's ever going to look badly at you. And I would always be cautious about living your life based on what you think other people might think about you. So it's like, not what you want, it's not what you're interested in, it's not the things that you think are important, but you're placing your validation, your happiness, the decisions about your own life on what some other guy over there or girl over there may or may not think about you. Don't do that. Don't worry about any of that. All that matters is you and what's important to you. So don't assume that changing direction is a big deal, because it's not. It's really not. And you can always change. You can always do something new and different. Life is long, and it's not like you'll be punished for that in any way. It's a beautiful day. Unfortunately, I have got to get cracking because I've got a meeting at 9 o'clock, but it's been lovely taking you for a little walk around this little city. Torrens River, beautiful. CBD up here, amazing. And also stroll through the Uni of Adelaide and talk about how to choose a university. Whatever you're getting up to today, I hope it's a good one. And let me know in the comments what you think. This live format, I mean, I'm trying this, right? I've probably crapped on way too long. Thank you for your patience. But hit me up in the comments, right? Do you have any questions about how to choose a university? Do you have any questions about any of the Australian universities at all? Or maybe your own personal situation? Like, do you want any sort of like unbiased, independent advice? I got no agenda. I don't care what you do. It's your life. I'm sure you're going to have a good one. So pop them in the comments and I will absolutely get back to you. Thanks for watching. Whatever you're getting up to today, I hope it is a really fucking good one. I'm Rob Malicki. And I will see you next time on the morning walk. Thank you for joining me. Now I've got to cut this live stream. I wonder how that works. See you later. Have an awesome day.